This is the Elgato Prompter, and it's a tool that serves as an additional display that you can put pretty much anything on. It's primarily used for reading your Twitch chat and for reading scripts, like the one that I'm reading right now. But whenever this product is talked about, it's being discussed from the perspective of people. Like, people who use their bodies for making videos, and I don't think I've ever seen a VTuber talk about it. So can we as VTubers even use this product at all? I've been waiting months to find a deep dive on the VTubing end of things about the prompter, and finally, instead of waiting any longer, I asked Elgato to send one my way, and they politely obliged, so thank you so much to Elgato for sending me this product and for sponsoring the video. I've been using the prompter for about a month now, and I can say it's an absolute game changer overall. But the setup is a little bit different if you're using the product in tandem with VTuber tracking and not just a camera. In short, both iOS and webcam tracking perform more or less the same as they do with your device being positioned behind the prompter. So if that's all you wanted to know, yeah, it works. So go buy one. I guess I should catch you up on what this device even is, though. The Elgato Prompter is basically the same thing that a television host might use, so you can read your script while looking directly at the camera, except it's designed for content creators, so it's much smaller and can fit on your desk. Although there is an XL version if you like it big. There's a little monitor down here that reflects anything you want and displays it back through a mirror. So that can be a video script, your chat, or even just a monitor of OBS. Or just a monitor. It can just be a monitor too. And it can also do all of that stuff combined if you really want. I mean, it's literally a display, so you could play video games on it if you really wanted to. But let's talk about how to set it up. It's easy. You just mount it on the bottom and plug in a single cable. And keep in mind that this is a high-speed cable, so plugging it directly into your PC is the best. If you decide to get a hub, it needs to provide a fast enough connection and meet the power requirements for the prompter. This one that I've been using from Anchor works fine, although Elgato does make a USB hub that you can plug into the back of your Stream Deck Plus alongside the 100-watt power delivery to support your prompter and other devices. Once connected, it should show up as a monitor in your PC settings. And if you download the Elgato Camera Hub, you can start using the script features. Unlike some of the mobile app options out there, Camera Hub's features are not locked behind a subscription or anything, so they're completely free to use with your prompter. You can keep it in display mode like I said before and use it like a regular display, or you can swap to your script or chat tabs. For the chat tab, you can pretty much just add an account and your chat will start going. You can easily move your mouse up to the monitor and scroll if you miss something, so no more of that jittery, weird thing that it does with the auto scroll. It's really annoying, although if you're only buying the prompter for that, that's kind of an expensive fix. If you have a script, you can add it in here, although you do need to copy and paste it in as there's no file import. Elgato Camera Hub will be merged with Studio at some point, and they have teased the alpha on stream before, so if I can find footage of it, I'll show it here. Basically, we're getting a ton of quality of life improvements, and most notably, file imports for scripts and YouTube chat support, so you can have a multi-chat scroll in your prompter as well. No clue when this will be out, but it is in the works. Live monitoring is something that you might be interested in having, especially with VTubers, where eye contact is even more important, I would argue, than with people, because we can lose calibration. If you want a live monitor, don't put VTube Studio or whatever tracking app into the display, because if you dock it in here, it'll resize the app to the display size, and resizing the app will mess with your spout output capture, assuming you're capturing with spout. The way I do this is by having a separate prompter scene where I drop a source clone of my VTuber in. And since my regular recording size is pretty small for monitoring on the prompter screen, I also stretch this out a little bit so I can see the model's face more. You can then right-click and open a source projection as a new window, and you can dock this in your prompter with no resizing penalties. And then just adjust the script opacity so you can still see what's going on. Obviously, this is pretty annoying to do every time you want to record, so you can grab this projector hotkeys script if you really want to. To add it, just go to Tools, Scripts, and add a new script, and then download the script and drag that download into the folder that OBS opened. Once you open the script, you'll get all of these options for your scenes to load in, and then you can set them to auto-load when opening OBS. All you need to do is check the box and set the correct display. And if you don't know which display number it is, just open up your display settings in Windows, and you can see the number. Due to some OBS constraints, you can only open windows with this, not close them, so if you don't always always want this open, you can use a streamer bot action for OBS RAW and have it run a hotkey only when you want to. You can also add a VTube Studio model resize hotkey to make sure that you are positioned correctly for recording. Wow, that was a lot of talking for just opening a window, but nothing in VTubing can be easy, man. And speaking of easy, let's talk about tracking. Notoriously really easy. So easy. When you open up the box, you'll get the prompter and a bunch of different camera backplates. Depending on what you use for tracking, you'll need to swap this out. For webcams and phones, the universal backplate is the one to use. And you can use this with DSLR cameras as well, and the prompter comes with tons of step-up lens attachments and ring backplates if you really want to directly mount your camera in. And that's great for people and all, but again, we're not real people, we're cartoons. And I doubt anyone is using a DSLR for tracking, so we'll just be talking about this one, the universal backplate. The prompter has 2 mounting spots, and the back one is better for balance. So I keep mine on an Elgato master mount with an extra component from the Phlox arm set. But it is a 1/4" thread, so as long as you've got that, it should work with any mount. You can put it on a mic arm, for example, and that's something that Elgato actually shows pretty often in their streams. If you're using a webcam, you'll want to attach it to the back bracket. I have the ancient OG face cam, which you can't even get anymore, but it'll come with a little foot thing that you can take off to access the threading. A lot of webcams will have something similar to this, so if you can't find the hole, then maybe try evaluating the anatomy of your webcam. The tracking for webcam looks close to the same. Here is what my model looks like with my webcam mounted like normal, and here's what it looks like mounted behind my prompter. It's pretty close, although you can tell it's just slightly off. For phones, technically you don't need a mount, and the first couple of times that I used the prompter, I pretty much just threw my phone in there, and it was fine. As long as it didn't slip, of course. It is a little bit sussy, so I recommend having a phone mount, and the prompter does not come with one of these. As a person who used to vlog using my phone, I do have some of these laying around to mess with. The clamp style of mounts work great, but the issue is that your prompter will probably be mounted behind your monitor, which means having the leverage to open the grabby ones is kind of annoying, and it's also a pain with the screw ones too, because you have to reach over your desk and unscrew it every single time. And for the record, I'm not a small person either. I'm 5'7", so if you're short, this is probably just not an option for you at all. So in my opinion, a magnetic mount is the best in this situation. If you think about the anatomy of a phone though, it's not like a webcam where the lens is in the middle. For iPhone tracking, we have the focal point at the top of the phone, meaning that a MagSafe mount is gonna offset the lens, especially in landscape form. And yes, you can track your VTuber in landscape mode. As long as your phone isn't obscured, any orientation can work, although it's hard to keep it centered with a magnetic mount. There are a lot of ways that you could do this, like a small upright unit and then having your phone mounted upside down. Or the way that I do it is to have a right angle joint with a ball joint and then a magnetic mount. If you get this exact setup, just know that the right angle mount has a screw that's too short to go through the back plate of the prompter, so I'm using a little extender and then a different extender as a locking screw on the bottom side. Really fun. Yeah. If all you have is one of those clamp things though, just make sure that your side buttons are not being pressed and that your phone is offset so that the lens is mostly centered. Let's talk about the actual tracking performance now. How good is the tracking? Well, if you set up your prompter like how I have mine, it's good, but it's noticeably different. The few things that look different most notably are my eyes and my mouth, which sometimes have this jittering kind of effect. This is only really noticeable at a larger scale, so it's not a huge deal, and the jitter is mostly due to the distance that my phone is from my face. The closer that you are, the better camera clarity and the better tracking. I also noticed, and I don't know if this is because of the weird phone orientations that I'm using or because of the beam splitter or something, but my body Y gets inverted. I have no clue why it does this, so I just fix it by setting the parameter to -10 to 10 instead of 10 to -10 inside of VTube Studio. It's just a weird issue that I came across, and it could be user error, but just make sure to check that your tracking looks normal when you first connect things, because maybe you'll have some weird inverted parameter also. The positioning is really important, and the falloff for tracking quality is fast past your monitor distance in my personal experience. So that's why I actually keep my prompter pushed out so far, with the display actually pushed past my actual monitor, whereas most people would lower the prompter a bit and keep the monitor behind their main monitor. Closer would obviously be better, but it's much harder to find a good placement for, so if you find a better better place for your prompter, let me know down in the comments. You can compensate for the jitter effect by adding smoothing to your tracking parameters, and adjusting some parameters as well. For example, mouth funnel seems harder to detect at this distance, so you might want to make it more sensitive by pulling the input threshold down. If you want to use your prompter like this, you can make a copy of your VTube JSON file for each set of settings, save them somewhere safe, and then overwrite them interchangeably as needed. This is also specific to my model since I have perfect sync tracking, so it's pretty noticeable that there's a difference. But for my chibi model, which is only mouth open, mouth form, and some audio sync, it's borderline unnoticeable. So depending on how your model's tracking is actually set up, you might not even need to do this. I would just try it by first throwing your phone in the back there, seeing how it looks, and if it's good, maybe you order some mount parts, and if not, there's actually another thing that you can do to avoid the tracking replacement and annoying prompter placement stuff altogether. If you have some desk space, you can elect to mount your phone or webcam however you want in a nearby placement, on a master mount, or whatever cheap mount you have laying around. Since you will be looking directly at the prompter, your tracking is going to be a bit off. But that's okay. All you need to do is look at the prompter when you calibrate so that your face and eye position will be shifted slightly left or right, depending on your phone placement. Then you can use whatever mounting method you prefer. Whenever you're set up, I also recommend adding a hotkey on your Stream Deck to recalibrate your model, because once your phone is up there, it's going to be really annoying to double tap the screen and access the calibration button. I will also say that having good lighting helps a ton. I have these cheap lights that I bought many years ago for cosplay reasons, but if you want something nicer, Elgato does also make their key lights, which have Stream Deck integration and are probably generally better than my crusty $5 ancient lights. And lastly, you need to keep your phone charged during streams, but it's pretty easy to just run a cable down your mount and conceal it, and you can leave it there permanently. For me, I use the nano chargers from Anker, and these tend to keep my phone at full battery. Although if your phone tends to overheat, you might also want to look into getting some type of phone cooler, and yes, these do exist. So, is this usable by VTubers? Yes. Does it function well for VTubers? Yes, but you need to set it up properly. So if you're a person that doesn't like to tinker with things at all, this is way less plug and play for a VTuber than for a normal person. But I absolutely stand by it for reading scripts and for keeping up with my chat. If you're interested at all, you can shop all of the random jerry-rigged bullshit that I use in my Amazon links. And from June 23rd to the 26th, the prompter will be on a Prime Day sale for, I believe, $80 off as well. So if you want to support me and pick one up, using those links is a really good way to do that. And if you're watching this when that sale is over, you can still support me by using my Elgato link with my code, and that'll save you some money. Overall, your tracking will be more or less the same as long as you're lit well and have it as close to your face as possible. Or you can always just offset your phone and calibrate to compensate for it. Your tracking will work though, and that was always my main issue when I wanted to pick one of these up, so if that is also your reason for not getting one at this point, now you know. You can use it. Your tracking will work. I was the experiment. That's it. Bye.